As Congress prepares itself for a big debate on raising the debt ceiling, there's one thing to keep in mind. The U.S. already hit the borrowing limit on May 19th of this year. The U.S. Treasury is legally only allowed to rack up $16.7 trillion in debt, but it has finagled a way to legally spend an additional $260 billion using what's called extraordinary measures. In a letter to Speaker Boehner, Treasury Secretary Jack Lew explains what extraordinary measures he's utilizing. The Government Securities Investment Fund, or the G Fund, is a retirement account for federal employees. It contains about 40% of all thrift saving plans balances. There are 4.6 million civil employees and uniformed service members who have TSP retirement accounts. And Congress has granted the Treasury the statutory authority to suspend reinvestment of all or part of the balance of the G Fund. In other words, the Treasury is borrowing from the retirement accounts of servicemen and women. However, in that same letter, it also states that after the debt limit impasse has ended, the G Fund is made whole. Congress has the sole authority to raise the debt ceiling, and they've done so 78 times since 1960. But since 2011, the issue has become much more politically difficult. Congress is not obligated to raise the debt ceiling, and if they don't, would these funds be paid back? This is just one example of extraordinary measures the Treasury is using to continue to fund the government after hitting the debt limit. Other funds that are part of these extraordinary measures include the Civil Service Retirement and Disabilities Fund and the Postal Service Retirees Health Benefit Fund. Economist Jim Rickards has this to say about these extraordinary measures.
No one wants a debt default. No one's talking seriously about a debt default. But the point is the Treasury can pay the debt. They can pay the interest and principal on the debt and just not pay other things. This notion that, there's a hard ceiling and once you hit it, you default on the debt is false. I mean, the White House and the Treasury are putting that out there. It's simply not true. You can pay the debt and perhaps not pay other things until you resolve the issue with Congress. Now, that's not a great outcome. It's pretty lousy cash management, but the Treasury does have that flexibility.
So while the debt ceiling is a false construct, the retirement and disability funds being used for these extraordinary measures are very real. In Washington, D.C., Perry Ann Boring, RT.